How's everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Papa Powell going on the microphone. Papa Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. This is your boy TraderPrad. TraderPrad. But if you guys are ready for this show to get started, why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, what's up, people? Welcome back. It is time for the Prad Show. Hopefully you guys had a nice day on the market. Boy, oh boy, was it eventful. Market's going up mostly overall. They did have some scary parts in the middle where Trump was threatening Powell back and forth. But after each threat news that came out, we kind of had a new news right after it saying, no, I'm not going to do anything. And that happened basically twice back to back. It was like, okay, here we go again. Trump always chickens out, and it's happening within hours at this point. Usually at least you got about a day or so, but now it's playing out within hours. So just another clown day, clown market, but can't be upset about the market going higher. The cryptocurrency bill seems to be heading in the right direction again, or at least in the right direction for Trump and all the cryptocurrency holders. Not in the right direction if you are a cryptocurrency bear or a short. But market going up, cryptocurrency stocks going up. You had Circle going absolutely ballistic today. J&J, we'll talk about J&J for sure. That I had a pretty good trade on J&J today. So good trades across the board, long and the short side. Trades that we talked about last night. Also, some stocks that we did not talk about moved, and I think those are worth mentioning tonight. So if you stay tuned for the later half of the stream where we go over all the stocks important for tomorrow, then we'll talk about all the movers like Red Cat. Trying to remember some other movers. Circle, which actually moved, and I didn't get to trade on it today. I'm pretty sad about that one. But Circle, we're gonna have to cheat a little bit. We're gonna have to use my good friends over at Centerpoint to help us. SBET, that was another one that moved today. RGTI, some of the quantum names moved, drone stock as I mentioned already, and then you have more earnings names like United Airlines reporting today after hours. Looks like they're pushing to the downside. There's some more stocks that are also reporting today after hours, such as Alcoa. That's a name to keep an eye out for, but besides that, it's kind of a muted earnings board for tonight for us to really focus on too. But tomorrow the earnings board really starts to pick up a little bit. You got big names like TSM, that's at the all-time high, Netflix at the after hours, so obviously tune in for tomorrow after hours stream at 8 o'clock, where we'll go over the Netflix earnings report and see how even stocks like Interactive Broker, that's a pretty good name to keep an eye out for, how they are moving off of their report. So earnings board just getting started, and two hot names tomorrow in the pre-market and in the after hours. So fun times coming up ahead, even though today's earnings board kind of seems, tonight's earnings board kind of seems a little dead. UAL for sure though is a name worth keeping an eye on. I'm surprised they went lower, because I was expecting them to go higher based on how Delta Airlines reported their earnings, and they, if I remember correctly, went to the high side, but UAL over here retracing off of that move, sadly. We'll dive deeper into that, see how deep did it pull back, and if there is a really good trade worthy to talk about or not. But before we go into that part of the stream, let's go to my trades on the day. Let's talk about the best trade out there from my side. There was a better trade cleaner chart for today, and I'd say that was Circle. But my best trade on the day today was J&J. It came from yesterday's watch list preparation. If you guys were here on the stream last night, we talked about the J&J trade opportunity to look for the long above 170 if buyers were coming in and defending the 170, 159.50, which was, let me just quickly pull in the chart over here, J&J, if it was able to get above this little range high, 159.50/160, and show me buying above it on pullback, then I'm very interested to look for the long, and that's exactly how the stock set up. It had the beautiful run up off the open. It pulled back. After the pullback, it was trying to basically hold VWAP. Where's VWAP? You can't even see it. Oh, it's this little dotted line in the background. You can't even see it because it's irrelevant anyways, where the VWAP is so close to the open. Later on in the day, VWAP matters, and you can see how the stock basically never gets below VWAP later on in the day. But right here is where I basically turned it into a real trade, and you can see how volume starts to pick back up as we're going into high a day, and the high a day breakout with the biggest volume, not the biggest, but one of the biggest volume candles of the day. So multiple opportunities to keep a watch for J&J. Simple idea, look for the pullback gives you buying above 160. It's actually buying above 161, not even 160. So the fact that buyers are willing to show up above a whole dollar, then the key level that I had in mind just made it even more bullish. So took a starting entry, added to the stock after it, you can see how it had a stop run almost, right? I tried to run the stops. My stop was at 160, so I wasn't gonna get stopped out if they were just gonna have a bullshit run of the stops over here. If after making this run up and pop up and then pushes back down, possibly that's worth enough to that's good enough to use that as a stop. But this wasn't enough for me to use it as a stop at this move originally, so I didn't get out. What that allowed me to do instead is watch how the stock bounces off the 161 area and pushes right back into 162. So I figured, okay, we're gonna push back into 162. Let me just get some more size over here. Tried to turn it into a B-size trade, and I did that. Turned it into a B-size trade. And then some more consolidation. Now above the VWAP, this is the 1 minute chart. Some consolidation above VWAP, some consolidation right around 162. So not only were we holding 161, now buyers are coming in around 162 and defending 162. So this is where I turned the stock into a real trade on that little breakout of the range high. and able to capture a nice move into high a day. A little premature on that exit over there. I was not actually planning to exit there, I promise you, but I was trying to throw an order somewhere up here to take a profit, but I had the wrong price, so sadly punched out some size over here that I was not intending to, but still had size overall. And then I added basically these two lots that I punched out. I added those two lots back on the break a high a day, looking for an even bigger move, but it just kind of died down. No big volume on the push higher, and momentum slowing down. This is also a boomer name. This is not like Circle or Palantir or Robinhood that could go really ballistic. It's J&J. So considering that it is up 6%, considering that it is up multiple ATR on the day, I think the ATR was $2 for the stock. The stock just went from basically $160 to $166, so multiple ATR on the day, expecting a lot more than what we already are seeing on the stock. Will be a little ridiculous. So capturing profits on the run up, and then when that little push over here failed to make a higher high, taking that as my exit to take profits and walk away from the trade. So J&J, perfection and almost perfection from my side, and all that took is preparation, right? Preparing for the name last night and taking advantage of exactly the variables I wanted to see playing out on the stock today. Some stocks that were not on the watch list but still able to capitalize on that move, not that they weren't on the watch list, but they weren't main focus, was AMD. AMD wasn't a main focus at all, but what happened was some of my alerts around yesterday's high started to play off on AMD, and I noticed that the stock had a pretty insane run up over here after the whole morning back and forth action right into yesterday's high. Yesterday's high around 158.50. We break 158, we break 158.50, and then we keep going higher, and this is the power hour. Usually I've seen something like this play out, so if the power hour just keeps, this is almost a buy program that just wants to keep on buying unlimited amount of shares, and they're just going to keep buying possibly up to 160 or maybe even above 160. It's up to them, we don't know, but if the buy program's there, I can really take advantage by going long in this area and having a very tight stop, and that's exactly how this one played out, taking a nice little dollar per share move. Technically, yeah, no, I did make most of my exit was $1 per share, and then the last few shares were at the 50 cents per share marker, so making about overall, I want to say maybe rounding it down to like 65-70 cents per share on that quick little scalp on the position. So can't complain. Always love making lunch money. Lunch money is good. Hood. Robinhood makes a nice break above the all-time high, which was around $102. So obviously our alerts start to go off. Robinhood now getting above 102, pulling back and holding above 101. So that's a pretty bullish indication that Robinhood is able to find buyers above 101 and still trying to basically hold VWAP over here after breaking all-time high. So if that's going to be the play, then yeah, I want to situate myself for a long over here. My stop was a little bit lower than 101. Thankfully, I didn't get tricked out on that position. It was very easy if the stock just kept going a little bit lower, 180, 184s or so. I think it was 179. So 179, I would have gone stopped out on this position and taken a full loss off that trade. But the fact that I had the trade from here already, and I was able to hold against this whole shake back and forth, that made me go absolutely stupid and add to the trade on the break of high a day. I don't know what got into me. I just said screw it, no setup, I don't care, I'm just going to take the breakout because this stock is now making another new all-time high and it's gonna go crazy. No, that was stupid. There is no setup over here. There was no actual good plan to enter into the long, and after I did that, I get scared a little bit because now the stock immediately pulls back, and I figured that it could easily pull back right back into VWAP, and my average is not going to be so good where I want to see the stock going back to VWAP. So keeping that in mind, I just took my quick little exit as the stock did look like it was going to fail this little high day break move. So taking my quick little exit and taking profits from that trade, but watching if there is an entry right back into the position, and there was a second chance scalp over here as it pushes right back lower and then breaks the previous candle high. And as it does that, I quickly get back in for smaller size, and I use that as my stop, and I use that as a quick little stop, because after we make this move and we push back lower and get back below that candle low, chances are the stock is actually going back and testing the open at that point. So didn't want to hold the long at all. So quickly getting back in, using this as my full stop. Didn't have to worry about the position at all because it was instantly in the money, making a quick $1 per share or so on that trade. And well, not most of the shares, some of the shares we make about $1 per share, but most of the shares we do exit around the 50-cent marker. This is exactly why the trade fails over here for me, because it was a failed break of the higher day. So potentially could have exited this position a little bit higher, but nah, I was a little hopium on that trade. I wanted to see if there was a bigger move, bigger move on the stock, but it looks like the love was given to Circle instead of Robinhood today for the crypto name. However, the stock was still up like what, 3.5%, made a new all-time high. My swing account is absolutely killing it thanks to Robinhood, so I can't complain. Later on in the day, there was a little higher day opportunity breakout going into the close. Tried to take advantage of that, see if there was some money to be made. Honestly, I was in profit. I was quite a bit of money in profit, but I got greedy and I did not get filled on my exit takes. And also I was a little greedy on my exit takes, even though if I did get filled, I would not be a lot of size to get filled on. Anyways, long story short, taking a quick little exit over here. Small loss, not a big loss at all. Overall winner on Robinhood also. NUWE, some sort of a small cap stock. I don't even know what the catalyst is. I'll be honest, I did zero research. All that I saw was the stock pulled back to the pre-market high area and was consolidating around the pre-market high right around VWAP. So there is a permutation where we hold this area and then we start curling back up, creating that cup and handle pattern where basically the stock goes back into higher day and then it trades sideways from higher day a little bit and then it breaks higher day for a bigger ballistic short squeeze move higher. But it did not really give me that move that I was looking for. Instead, it broke the lower day and stopped me out. What I could have done is basically gone short, but I didn't pay for shorts. I was trying to get fancy. I was like, oh, it's holding pre-market high. Not really. Pre-market high was a little bit higher, but I was like, it's holding pre-market high. It's holding VWAP. There's possibly a big squeeze that I can join. You know, EU's probably going to get squoze out of this stock. He's probably hella short in this move over here. And then watching the EE candles coming into play, I'll be able to really take advantage of the short squeeze. Sadly, nope, it didn't play out that way. The longs had to get beat up instead. RGTI, one of my other losers, really should not have been a loser at all. Somewhere in this area, honestly, I a little over traded it, but at the same time it was also the news catalyst, that the Trump Powell news catalyst, which shook the market a little bit. So both of these stocks kind of got me at the same time, SBET and RGTI. However, they did pull back, they held VWAP and they pushed right back into higher day, and then they gave you that bigger explosive move to the north side if you were looking for it. RGTI was up 128% today. Get the hell out of here. No, it wasn't. Yeah, okay, 30% up today. There's no way RGTI was up 128. Ignore that number over there. That's a bug in the system. But you know, RGTI should not have lost money on this trade at all. Oversized a little bit in this area, perhaps. No, I won't say that. But one thing I did make a big mistake on is not taking enough size in this area. There was a clear stop. If the stock went below this little low after making a new high, there was just simply no more permutations where it just does this type of an action. So the fact that I took a small entry, I should have turned it into a real trade somewhere in this area, and then it, managed to capture that big move eventually. Maybe not, we'll see. But I did capture a little bit of the trade. But does this even count when the stock manages to do this? Like, that doesn't count at all in my book. So I'm not gonna give that as a win. You shouldn't give that as a win, because at the end of the day, you undersized on it big time also. So big losing trade overall for me. RGTI could have done better, should have done better. There were just, so many entries that there were better entries, honestly, than even fighting for this area. There was an entry here, there was an entry in this area, and then obviously there was an entry in this area also that you could have used to capture a monster move on Quantum Name, which is actually above a pretty solid level. So we're gonna take a look at that for the watch list. And last but not least, SBET, one of those Ethereum catalyst names, just is on a rip to the north side at the moment. BMNR got announced that Peter Thiel has a 10% stake in BMNR. So all of these cryptocurrency stocks kind of caught a little bit of a heat, a little bit of traction. And SBET, because of that, looking for a higher day breakout, didn't really have follow through. Also at the same time, Trump moving the market back and forth, got caught up in one of my biggest losers on the day. Doesn't matter though, because nice solid green day. Most of my money on the day comes from Robinhood, and that is basically the theme. Even watching Yanni, the ex-S&B Traders podcast from Kinfo, he talks about how 80% of his money comes from about 10 to 20 days in a year. So it's like, at that point, why even bother trading so much and over trading and ruining your psychology and your mindset when you're in a trade, because you're over trading again. So just kind of keeping those points in my head, and it's playing out in front of me. Yesterday also, my biggest stock was my best stock. My green day was basically all of it came from one stock on the day. So just kind of keeping that in mind. Trade less is more, quality over quantity, and looks like I've been doing a better job at that. I just need to do even better job at that. And then on the one of the winners that I do have, I need to figure out how to put more exposure, more risk in general. So that's my trading today overall, and how I could have done better. If you guys are interested, obviously, on my overall notes, which I'll be doing off stream, the link for that is right here pinned on my Twitter account, and obviously you can find the Twitter account link and all the other links down below in the description. Let's make a watch list, ladies and gentlemen, because once again, I'm late to get to home, which will probably be the story for the rest of my life now, okay? Because the road outside is kind of, they're remaking the road, they're widening the road and so on. So the bus schedules are going to be all out of whack. So I'm going to be potentially a little slower with making the watch list, with streams, links and so on. So just bear with me while I have to deal with this and see how I have to move forward with that. Anyways, I did make a little small watch list while I did have time, with some of the stocks that I remembered moving, such as RCAT. Along with RCAT, maybe you want to throw in other stocks such as AVAV, ACHR, UMAC. I mean, just throw in a bunch of drone names in there. And then after hours, you have Pete Hegseth, who said more things about drones. He wants low-cost drones, being made in USA or something along those words. So obviously that's going to be important to keep an eye out for the whole sector. Roblox going absolutely insane. I mean, what is wrong with the stock at this moment? It just went from 50 bucks to like 100 bucks in a span of no time at all. So monster move in Roblox overall. We'll take a look at that. Continuing down this little watch list over here. Actually, let's go to the earnings board, and the two stocks that we're going to take from the earnings board will be UAL and Alcoa. After that, tomorrow pre-market TSMC, so that's TSM. Pepsi, yes sir, Pepsi. CTAS, I don't think that one really matters at all. You know, honestly, Novartis, NVS, is Novartis the stock that makes the weight loss pill? Novo Nordisk, right? Or is that NVO? For some reason, I remember that being NVO. Okay, Novo Nordisk is the company that makes... Then why do I remember Novartis? What is Novartis and what do they do? For anyone in the chat, if you guys know exactly what medicines they do, please put it in there. How do I... Maybe I've seen their ads somewhere. Anyways, these stocks, this stock reports tomorrow. What is the volume like on this stock over here on a day-to-day basis? 2 million shares for a $100 stock. Not the best, but not the worst either. Maybe there's something to keep an eye out over there as they report tomorrow pre-market also. But the rest of the names I don't really care too much about. Continuing down the watch list over here, let's quickly zoom right back to the center point, and ASML took a beating today. That's pretty surprising, even though AMD kept going higher and higher and higher. Obviously ASML reported earnings, so that's a reason why ASML pushed lower. ASML, along with ASML, I want to put really quickly some other semiconductor names like AMD and maybe even Nvidia in there. UAL is already on the watch list. J&J for a possible day 2 trade. Let's put that on the watch list. VST down 3% as large cap power provider stocks were met with selling pressure. Ooh, okay, so VST pushing a little bit along with some other large cap power providers. I'm guessing that's NRG, LEU, and so on. Possibly also worth putting an eye out for if they are going down. We'll take a look at that. Where is some of the Joby? We're forgetting Joby over here. Or is it Joby? Joby, Joby, whatever, chat. MP having an offering after hour. They pushed a little bit lower over there, down 6% on MP. There was another stock that's in the mineral sector that IPO'd today. They were actually not on the IPO list last night when we were looking at the IPOs, but they were on the IPO list today morning. However, that IPO trade was garbage. It was no volume in there at all. Looks like that's a pretty good watch list overall. Let me just quickly add some of the large cap stocks that are not on the watch list yet. Meta, Google, Tesla, Nvidia is already on the board. Amazon, possibly missing my favorites over here. SMCI, Hood, Palantir, Shopify. A-Lab fucking sucks at the moment. Where is A-Lab at? Not even worth talking about, but if A-Lab does break down, maybe there's something there. I don't think it breaks down anytime soon. But I think that's a pretty good watch list for us to talk about, and will obviously take us a lot longer than 30 minutes to go through these names. So let's start with, at the top of the board, taking a look at how some of the stocks reported earnings today after hours. We really only care about two names, and that will be Alcoa and United Airlines. So where is UNH? Or not UNH, UAL. Hello? There you go. UAL Their conference calls at 10 a.m. tomorrow? Why? Don't you report tonight after hours? Why is your conference call at 10 a.m.? And it kind of sucks that I can't really read the earnings report over here at all. So I guess for that, we're going to have to bring in our tools. So not good just yet, huh? You're not amazing just yet. UAL dropped 2.9% after Q2 results missed revenue expectations. What is this? What the fuck is that? Okay, I like this. 1.7% year-over-year growth, 0.9% miss. Adjusted EPS 3.87 versus analyst 3.81. Revenue 15.24 versus 15.37. Okay. What is this? Adjusted EPS guidance for the full year is 10 at the midpoint, missing analyst estimates by 1.4. Overall, I guess they're basically down on all aspects over here on UAL. So clearly taking a little bit of a tumble after that report today after hours, but still, I mean, oh, look at that. Right after they pushed lower, they popped right back up. So I don't think there's much really to keep an eye out for to the downside. I mean, look at that solid base just above the 200 day moving average being formed, which is 84.89. Let's just say 85, round it up to 85. If the stock is holding 85 tomorrow on the dips, you want to be very careful shorting the stock just because you know, it went down according to articles and according to tweets and so on. I don't think that's good enough for me. The reports don't look the strongest, but if UAL does hold above 85, that's a key level right there. You want to keep an eye out for that. And I might even use that as a long. If we push back into 85 and then bounce off of 85, that's a level that you can use as a good level to play long off of. However, since the report is kind of meh, it's not significant at all. You know, I have a rule that says I don't like to watch stocks that do this in the after hours when they report. When you report, do something fun. Go crazy. Go to a new level or get absolutely destroyed. When you are in yesterday's ranges, or I should say in today's range, still in yesterday's range, that's not something new. That's not something fresh. So it's very boring, stale, dead to me. So on that side, kind of on the lower priority, honestly, it would really have to get above at least yesterday's high, which is above 89.65, 89.50. The stock would need to start getting above 89.65 and find buyers more than 15 minutes above 89.65 for me to be interested on the long on this name. So I'm gonna actually put in that level as a resistance at the moment, 89.65 to 90. So if it can get above there and then show me some buying above it, then that will be you know, levels to keep an eye out for to see how the stock trades. So 85 to 90 is basically the pocket that I think it will be stuck in tomorrow easily. I hope I'm wrong, because then I could get a trading opportunity. If we get below 85, I think there's some shorts for sure, possibly a move into $80. But if we, you know, don't hold below 85, then there is no short. Possible longs from 85 for a move into 86, 87, 88, something mediocre like that for a quick little lunch money scalp. But I don't think we're gonna go from 85 failed break to 90 in the very same day tomorrow, just because the earnings report was so boring and not even, you know, important. Alcoa, another one that reported today after hours, almost a very similar dead to me kind of reaction over here. It did pop up originally, then sold back. At least it's holding above today's high, so that's the thing in the plus. The stock is below 200-day moving average, and you can see how the daily chart clearly has a resistance in this pocket, right? So right on the pop, looks like we got sold off just below, just a little bit below that line that we have already. So I mean, there could be a long over here. They're a steel maker, tariffs, steel, aluminium, however you want to say it, you know, Trump, possibly even worth just ignoring the stock completely for the day trade. And for the swing side, I mean, more of a reason to ignore this name, because you never know when Trump's gonna come out slapping his little on the table and trying to bully countries again, especially Canada with metal and so on. So you want to be very careful with these tariffs type of stocks, in my opinion. So a little back off on AA. The fact that the earnings move was a little dead to me also, so I don't really care too much about this name unless it starts to build some energy above 29 and then starts to have volume on the day too. If it starts to build energy meaning some back and forth above 89, at which point we can look for the higher move, then I'll be interested. But for now, AA just doesn't get me, doesn't get my heart. Okay. What was the noise? I have no clue what noise you're talking about. Prad, good show. Nice shout out on RGTI today. Hey, you're welcome, my friend. I don't even know what shout out that was. Yeah, RGTI, nice move to the upside. Coming back to the watch list, TSM is important for tomorrow. You can see how it's right before the all-time high over here on TSM, right before 238.31. Let's just say 238. Makes my life easy, makes your life easy. 238, you ideally want to see the stock. I mean, it's going to report pre-market. Maybe it's because it's a China stock or Taiwanese stock. It might even open in Taiwan time and report at that time. So I don't know how it actually plays out, but one thing that will be important is how it plays out, right? If the stock is now gapping higher, at that point it's all systems go on buy every single dip. Look for a nice dip back into VWAP, get long off of VWAP. If the stock is up ridiculously to the upside with multiple ATR moves up, then I will be a little bit more careful to simply only look long. I might look for a short scalp and then look long later on and so on. So it depends on how the stock plays out in the pre-market. Depends on how the earnings report comes out, how bullish is the report, and a little bit of those variables over there. So keep an eye on this one pre-market. I would love for the stock to get above 238 and give me dips into 238. Show me strength around that area for me to get long. Basically how we played out J&J today. So 100% on the watch. High priority name. First stock of the day that gets the purple priority. Where is it? TSM. Team Solo Mid gets high priority purple tomorrow. 238. So 238 area on watch. Okay. Pepsi reporting tomorrow pre-market also. I mean, not as high priority, but the fact that it's got a nice range over here, possible breakout above that range could give you one of the more hidden longs on the day. But if it does sell back and pushes back into the low end of these ranges, I'm not that interested to trade it. Maybe there's a long above here. Yeah, who cares? Possible lunch money. I did say lunch money is good, so possibly you could get lunch money if it starts to hold above 126.50. But I want to see either getting below 126.50, at which point I can look short, because everyone that got long in this area, they are now going to be wrong and they're gonna get blown out, just absolutely destroyed. Especially with, I was just gonna say, Trump likes Coke with cane sugar. Of course, sugar cane sugar juice is the right way to make Coca-Cola. That's the way we do it in India, that's the way they do it in Mexico, and it tastes 100 times better. So Coca-Cola possibly getting into doing that again, because Trump is going to look to do that. So Pepsi, possibly taking some hit, not just yet, but possibly taking some hit off of that news. Tomorrow, off of the earnings report, it'll be important to see if we get above this nice clean 137. Get above 137, get rejected possibly from the 200-day moving average, which is 150, 148 area. Get rejected from there, pull back, and then show me buying above above 140. Show me buying above 137. I will gladly look long on this name, even though I hate Pepsi with the passion. I'm a Coca-Cola till the death of me. No Pepsi. Love, love, love Pepsi. So watching how this stock sets up, usually the stock is dead to me as a day trade, but you know, when it sets up for a nice opportunity like we have over here, that makes things very exciting, even for the short under 127.60 and for the long above 137. So 100% makes the list tomorrow. NVS, we kind of sneaked this bad boy in the watch list. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing anything with this. Seems like it's around the all-time high. It is around the all-time high. Currently on a little bit of a downturn, pulling back into previous resistances and seeing if there is support. I guess if earnings report comes out well or really negative, then it'll be on watch. But at the moment, I have nothing really to talk about it on that name. So gonna move on from NVS for now. We'll see if pre-market makes it really exciting. Here's a stock that gets me very excited tomorrow because it is now in the extended area. It is in the let me quickly take one of my indicators from somewhere else and copy paste it here. Slowly, I just keep moving my indicators over to another layout and another layout and another layout instead of fixing my old layout, because that's known as laziness. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just absolute laziness. Looks like it's actually not as extended as I thought it would be. It's only 8 ATR away from its 50-day moving average, which is the orange one. Should be the orange one. Yes, the orange one is the 50-day moving average. Is there any way I could label these goddamn things? There's no way to label them? Come on, TradingView. There needs to be like a... Anyways, moving on. So orange one, the 50-day moving average, we're only 8 ATR away from it. I'm saying only like it's not a lot. That's a pretty decent, and the stock is obviously extended. No red day yet, just green, 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 green. So red cat going absolutely ballistic, and with the fresh news catalyst right now that we're having after hour, possibly a name that is on high priority list for everybody. For one, a short squeeze, but two, a mean reversion short trade. The stock is now up more than 4 or 5 ATR in 5 days. In 5 days, up then more, 4 or 5 ATR. Usually, you'll see some sort of exhaustion coming in, and then you're able to scalp the stock back to the downside. So 100% on the watch list. Let's see if today's candles. It's not. So, if the stock actually gets back below this 1120 area or fails to stay above 11 tomorrow, that might be a good enough of a short for me to take it back into 10. See how support at 10 plays out. But with the way the stock is moving right now and the fresh catalyst that we're getting out of Red Cat, I wouldn't be surprised if this stock goes even more ballistic. Little drone company flying into the $15 area or more. So very, very high priority on the day tomorrow as on the day trade side. For the swing, I would say it is a little crazy for me to buy it over here. You had plenty of time to buy it in these days, and I kind of ignored it. So I'm going to continue ignoring it on the swing account. Yes, it could go 15 or even more ballistic, but I'm not willing to gamble on that because I don't. That's not a setup for me, right? When I do see a setup for me to play out, I will 100% join in on that one. For the day trade though, like I said, looking for that mean reversion. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. Usually it's Thursdays and Fridays when options are expiring and so on, but it doesn't have to be tomorrow. This stock is now going into possibly one of the more crazier time periods for itself where it just goes insane. Absolutely ballistic and start squeezing some of the shorts. Let's actually go see how big the short float is on this name. 20%, almost as high as MPC, worth keeping an eye on just for that. What was the stock today that had a high short float? Was it SBET? I forget. Anyways, so yeah, RCAT. Let's see how this one plays out. I think the level was what, 11.22. $11 is mainly the level that I'm keeping an eye out for, but fine, we'll put in 11.22. Why not? The next level above that is $15 to keep an eye out for. 15.27/15 basically. Support, I don't really think I'm gonna put a support level to keep an eye out for at the moment. Roblox, nice little breakout over here. It was a little extended. I mean, the stock is just non-stop at the moment, going insane. So finally above 4 ATR, 5 ATR in a 5-day period. And honestly, the stock was like what? And in the start of April, $50, and now it's $119. You're going back into ridiculous prices. I don't think Roblox belongs in these prices, man. Eventually, every kid stops playing Roblox. Are you telling me Roblox is a money printer? Come on, I don't know. I'm still anti Roblox, for those of you who know me from back in the day, from Trader TV days. So it is absolutely shocking, mind blowing to me that the stock is moving the way it is. Is Unity having? Oh baby, look at Unity. I should have just gone long Unity. My dad is probably long Unity at the moment and loving this move. Wow, nice breakout on Unity actually today. Look at that breakout on this bad boy. You got a little bit of a flag over here, a breakout, and then maybe more continuation upside on Unity. It is somewhat extended on the daily chart. I mean, it's possibly using some of that Roblox momentum, Roblox heat to carry it upside, but possibly worth keeping an eye out for. See if today's low or tomorrow or today's high comes into play tomorrow for us to make some decisions around this name. Volume spike on the stock too. That's actually interesting. Volume spike on the stock. I'm not sure if there was any actual catalyst. Jeffries raised the price target. There you go. They raised it to 35. The stock basically went to 35 today. And Roblox, did they have a catalyst? Another a price target catalyst. They raised it to 120 and you basically went to 120. Oh, from 120 to 125, you basically went to your price targets. So, I would say Roblox is kind of in the ridiculous territories, and I'm going to keep tracking it as it's going even more nuts for the next few days, weeks, whenever it sets up for that big short opportunity. And gotta keep these one on watch, or you're gonna miss out when they set up. Circle had a monster breakout today. I completely forgot about Circle. I was trading Robinhood and I completely forgot about Circle. It's kind of doing the anchored VWAP pinch setup, which is the Brian Shanahan alpha trend setup, where a longer term anchored VWAP and a shorter term anchored VWAP, the stock ranges between those two anchored VWAPs, and then it breaks out. The entry is when the stock pulls back and shows you support above the anchored VWAP. This is when you get long, and then you risk these lows as your stop, looking for that continuation move back higher. That's something I could potentially do for my swing account and see if Circle could go absolutely batshit crazy again like it did off the IPO, because of the current cryptocurrency hype and theme that's going on in the market. So for sure, something to keep an eye out for, Circle. The fact that we broke out today the way we did, and nice amazing volume spike on the stock, 100% makes it the watch list. For the last few days, I've been kind of really ignoring Circle, and I paid the price today by ignoring it. I had alerts that went off on this name too, but I think I got muffled. You can see how 27 alerts got muffled in these alerts over here, so didn't even end up, sadly, catching any of this move. This was by far the cleanest move today. You could have gone long opening range breakout here, high a day breakout, biggest volume on the high a day breakout. You get then the pullback and hold above that daily chart level high. Then again a high a day breakout, another high a day breakout. 21 EMA continuation on the 5-day. Again, 21 EMA continuation on the 5-minute. Sorry, 5-day. On the 5-minute. Again, 21 EMA continuation on the 5-minute. So you got like multiple spots to enter. And then the cleanest chart on the day. Ending and the stock going up like what, 20% today. I'm very, very upset at myself for not trading what was possibly the best stock of the day. So tomorrow, this is obviously going to be a high priority name because of the way it moved today. Today would be now considered as day one. Any pullback into this 215.50, 216, I think today's VWAP actually ended around 216. No, it was 222. Okay. Any pullback into today's VWAP all the way into that 215, 216 area, I'm watching how the stock sets up. It is not weak until it gets below this area for me as a support zone. Today's VWAP is a little important, so I'll keep an eye out where that is. So that's around 222.44. I like that number quite a bit. 22244, and then resistance, you can just basically say today's high 239.50/240 is the resistance area. So I have my overall zones mapped out and the idea that I have for the stock planned in my head, and I can't wait to see how it plays out tomorrow. Robinhood, for sure, 100% priority tomorrow on this one too. If we start making a bigger move again with the cryptocurrency hype, Robinhood in my portfolio, we're now holding above 100. Today's VWAP basically holding in the after hours. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock actually is trading around 104, 105 tomorrow in the pre-market, or even if we're above it. So Robinhood makes some watch list without a doubt. I don't think I have any levels that we really need to go out there and put it in the watch list. It's basically today's high, today's low, the all-time high, all-time low, and so on. Coinbase, I don't really like to day trade Coinbase as much. But this stock obviously on the alert list, on the watch list, as the cryptocurrency sector is going back to the upside. MSTR, look at this one trying to break out tomorrow off that 455 area. That would be possibly something to keep an eye on. Instead of MSTR for the day trade, you can express that with MSTU. Actually, I might try to do that. So MSTU, if it gets above 1076/1080, I'm not even going to say $11 for this, but technically $11. If we're holding above this area tomorrow, that means MSTR is above its important area, and possibly you're going to see this going insane. So watching MSTU, how we set up on that one. IBIT, you can't ignore IBIT. I think you can ignore IBIT right now. I think MSTU, Hood, and Circle are the better trades actually at the moment instead of IBIT for the day trade. Oh, wow. Look at AVAV after stopping me out. This is how you want to set up on the name? Okay, you know what? We might actually buy some AVAV on the swing account very soon, possibly tonight after hours, and set a stop somewhere in this 240, 250 area, because I really like how it's set up over here with the whole drone catalyst, and these guys actually make drones. Granted, they recently had a stock offering, so they possibly might not do another one, hopefully, and I think their PE ratio is also insane. But I like the way it's setting up over here. Nice little undercut and rally back through the 9-day moving average, and could also be worth watching as a day trade. To what is that, 268.50? Today's high is 269.42. I think we're going to use today's high basically, because not 268.50. 269.42, 269.50 to 270 is important for me on AVAV. If we start to get above it and hold above it, that might be one of the easier longs on the day, and obviously swing trade gets me excited too. Joby, Archer, these are some of the other drone names that are worth keeping an eye on. Wow, Wawawiwa, what the Wawawiwa. Okay, I didn't know Joby was doing this. No one mentioned to me Joby looked like this today. A beautiful anchored VWAP, sorry, not anchored VWAP, VWAP bounce. You had a nice, not the best, but he had a 50 cents per share opening range breakout, but an even better VWAP continuation trade. So wow, Joby, what? No one told me this was happening. And I didn't even know that Joby was doing this, honestly. I've been ignoring the drone sector so much. So Joby, keeping an eye out for this one. Mean reversion and some sort of a day 2, day 3. I mean, today was basically day 2. That was day 1. This was day 2. And then day 3 maybe, if it's going even more nuts to the upside. Where is the resistance on this stock from the past? That's right around $17, and we're just shy off of it. Even more of a reason to keep this stock on the watch list tomorrow. Let's go. This is why I love streaming, even though only 2 people watch me every night. Kind of saddens me that you know, I barely get any goddamn views. You know, the best thumbnails in the game, okay, and still get no goddamn views over there. Absolutely sad. But yo, Joby is for sure high importance, so keep an eye on that one. ACHR, I think, you know, meh, whatever. Possibly it could go nuts as Joby is going nuts and then it gets pushed back down. But I think we're going to ignore Joby a little bit. I'm going to actually have to mention AV to my buddy Wayner, because he's gonna want to keep an eye on this name too. I know he was in AV with me. ACHR I'm gonna ignore, honestly. I'm gonna keep an eye on Joby instead. Joby. UMAC possibly worth keeping an eye on if you feel like you've been left behind on the drone names like I have been, and you want to play catch up. Possibly can play catch up with UMAC. I don't know if that's the right idea. You know, playing catch up is never the right idea, right? These stocks are going nuts already, so playing catch up is not the right idea. I think AV is not bad, but I think UMAC might be a little stupid if I do that. But hey, if the setup is there, your boy is taking advantage of it, baby. Okay, so UMAC, we'll see if this 13 manages to get above it and hold above it on the stock. That's a nice little watch list already, and I don't even think we need to go deeper, but we are going to. Like I said, it's going to take us a lot to go to today's watch list. Okay, ASML had a nice bounce overall. That's, I guess, expected. It held the 200-day moving average. That should have been a good long right there. Somewhere here, there was a long on ASML to capture. Wow, what a miss. But as a day 2, I mean, they had bad earnings report. They sold off, possibly. They'll sell off tomorrow too. The fact that they reclaimed today's VWAP is kind of, you know, making me think twice about this trade. It's also a high notional value, so you know, I might not even trade this name tomorrow. AMD is a high priority. We got above yesterday's high, 160. If we start holding above 160 on AMD, I mean, come on, baby, let's go. So AMD is on watch. I was actually looking to get long AMD 140. 148, sorry, on this breakout, but this breakout was basically a gap up. I'm not going long after that gap up. I need a pullback. So sadly, no pullback for me yet, and I don't think I'm gonna get one. But on the day trade side, at least, I'll be able to participate. Watch how AMD plays out above 160 or around 160. You possibly get a short on AMD over there. J&J, maybe a day 2. Look for today's VWAP, today's midpoint come into play. Possibly buying coming in around VWAP and you know, around the midpoint area. What is the midpoint area today? That's 163. I would love 163 to hold tomorrow. Give me a day 2 opportunity. Where's today's VWAP? 164 is today's VWAP. 163 is today's midpoint. Obviously, since this was my #1 trade on the day today, I'm you know, gonna keep an eye on this one. But the priority, given how RCAT, Joby, Circle, even MSTU, if the current market for the cryptocurrency keeps going, I think MSTU above 11 for a day trade might just be, you know, a monster trade over there. We'll see which one has volume, which one gives you the setup to take advantage in. So for that, helps you to be prepared across the board. So J&J 163, I'll put that one on the watch here real quick for inflection zone. But the 164 is actually today's VWAP. Going next to VST. VST apparently sold off a little bit, and I guessed that LEU and NRG sold off. LEU actually had a great day. NRG, did you sell off? You did yeah, you did sell off a little bit. Oh, okay, a little bit, yeah, you're actually breaking down over here for NRG. Not sure what's going on with the catalyst is, you know, they kind of left us hanging over here with the watch list. Where's the watch list? Hello? There it is. They kind of left us hanging with the watch list. They just said that they got met with selling pressure, so that's kind of boring. You know, I want to learn more. Maybe I'll have to dig into that off stream. So I don't have too much information. Just playing purely off of technicals. You got a nice little flag at the previous support, and then you're breaking down below that flag. If this stock starts to show you weakness below today's low, it's possibly going right back into this low over here and testing buyers down there. I think it possibly bounces off of 140. You know, that's an even dollar area, but just keeping an eye on NRG for more continuation downside. VST is another one that got sold off today. VST, there you go, that's the level right there. Nice little bounce off of 180.50. If it's weak below 180.50, which is also again today's low, I think there could be more pockets opening up over there to keep an eye on. So 180.50 on VST. I'll put an orange one. It's not like a high priority name, but it's in the basket. Today's low was, what's today's low? 143.40. So we'll just say 143.50. If we're not holding that tomorrow, I could be interested for a short over there. And LEU, kind of just delete that one from the watch list, because that's not really what my plan was. Maybe we could actually put LEU back in the watch list, because it's kind of breaking all-time high over here. Is it all-time high? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll move on. It's not in the watch list. It wasn't in there to begin with. We're going to not add it to it. MP. I had an offering, stock offering today after hours. Is that like the first red day now? Was today first red day? Not technically not. Today was up 0.57%, right? Yes, up 0.57% today. I hate how they show the percentage in the top left corner on TradingView in red, even though it was a green day. Overall, you know, it's a green day for MP. Maybe tomorrow we see the first red day sequence playing out on this name, and an opportunity to see some downside. This is now like what, 8 ATR in 5 days, so pretty overextended. It's also 100% above the 50-day moving average, 13.5% above the 50-day moving average. So clearly a little bonkers. And given the stock offering, I think it's for sure going to be interesting to see how the stock plays out around this 57, 55 area. I think if we do get below, is it 55 holding in the after, 54.40 holding after hours? But I think as long as we stay below today's low on pops, then it will start opening up some short opportunities. Actually, I'm more interested on how the stock trades at today's VWAP. I think that was some of the setups that played out more so recently for the red day, where the stock pops into today's VWAP, it rejects around today's VWAP, it pushes back into the pre-market lows, and then it just crumbles as the first red day setup, possibly gapping lower in the pre-market itself and absolutely ruining the fun for me, at which point I would have to wait for pops to get short into. But one of the higher priority names deserves to be purple because of the stock offering, because of the recent hype and craze that the stock has had for that mean reversion trade. Besides that, my watch list now is basically dead. I think we talked about Robinhood already, so we can delete that over here. Palantir made a new high, all-time high. I almost said high a day. New all-time high, and it looks like it wants to continue making that high. It looks like, you know, if the market didn't shut down, technically market didn't shut down, there's the overnight market going on. If the market didn't shut down, Palantir could easily keep going higher and higher and higher. So worth watching this one tomorrow to see if we're holding above 150, 151, to see if you know, more upside is coming into play. Is today's high 150, 150? I love it. Shopify, have you broken out yet? You just broke out today, and today's high was 120. This just makes it even better. So tomorrow, any holding power above 120, Shopify then upgrades to in the higher tier. I think we're gonna leave Shopify in the higher tier priority for now, but it might get downgraded if it's not trading above 120 for me. No real fresh catalyst, no spike in volume, so it's not like a high priority name out there for us. So could possibly even get downgraded right now and then get upgraded tomorrow based on how it's behaving in pre-market or intraday. SMCI and some of these other evergreen names that I always have in my watch list, like Amazon. Amazon pulled back. I didn't like that at all because I own it in my own account. Tesla looking like it wants to go higher. Google obviously broke out recently, so not really having much follow through after that breakout, but at least it's not getting sold back down, so that's a good thing. I heard Meta pulled back today. Yeah, Meta gave up the 21-day moving average here, possibly just profit taking. You know, this was one of the crazier stocks in the large cap sector, Microsoft being one of them and Meta being the other one. So both of these were just on a run to the all-time highs, whereas the other large caps were kind of relaxed, and then Nvidia played the catch-up game. Where's Apple now? Apple did make that move back into this area, so whenever Apple pushes back above this zone, that makes things very exciting. I could possibly delete these two zones now. So whenever Apple gets above this area, I'm sure it was in one of my million alerts that played out, but I probably missed it. Look at that Shopify alert played out. I missed it. So many alerts played out, but I missed it. I don't know how. I don't know what the hell I was doing, but the mark is all red, and then we're gonna have to put in our alerts all over again, I guess. Anyways, Apple, keep a watch on that when that zone breaks. I'm very shocked at Microsoft resilience. Microsoft, ever since its earnings report, has never really closed below the 9-day moving average. Insane strength. Oh boy, we got Valkyrie in the chat. I just quickly looked up to the chat over here, and we got somebody in the kick chat. Some Tyron verse, you there? Yes, I'm here, Tyron. Sorry, I don't really look at my chat too much, so I probably missed you guys if you guys have already messaged me. And we got people in the YouTube chat over here too. YouTube chat was a little slow today. No TH, no Dieter, but yes, we got John Juan, Fohammer, Joe Green, Josh, Victor's in the house, and Vane's in the chat too. What's up, Wayne? I don't know if you're still watching, but I was looking at AVAV, and I was looking at how AVAV sets up. You should have taken my $1 bet yesterday. You would have spent that $1 now. What was that $1 bet? TH is in the chat now, though, however. Welcome, TH. At the end of the stream, you are rolling in. I've been in the chat. Oh, well, we haven't seen any messages from you all day until now, sadly. So it didn't look like you were in the chat. Anyways, coming back to my watch list, not much left over here to really talk about. I mean, large caps kind of on the shelf for me. You can see how the more important stocks over here are in the blue, and I'm very excited. Valkyrie, do you have any stocks for me to take a look at? I tune in a couple minutes sometimes, but it's late in the EU. I gotcha. Viewer to thumbnail effort ratio definitely lacking. See, at least someone appreciates my thumbnails. Thank you, Valkyrie. Appreciate the love and the support for my thumbnails. Mr. Prad, when can we make trading babies? What the fuck? Never. I'm gonna die alone. I kind of prepared for it. You know, my family keeps talking me having a kid. No, I want to be the cool alone. I'm just gonna die alone. I want to make millions of dollars and spend those millions of dollars on my family members and on me too, obviously, and just kind of just wipe off the existence, get plugged into a robot, and just be done. You know, just be plugged into a robot and I'm immortal. My robot is now trading and doing my streams for me, and we're just living life happily ever after. I think that's the perfect life over there. Let's quickly go to the last few things over here because we are past 9 o'clock, guys. I am hungry as shit. I haven't eaten dinner at all. The things I do for the stream, for 3 viewers, the things I do for the stream. So going into the the economic calendar. Hello, don't lag on me. is economic calendar today. We had the PPI, and you know, lots of positive chatter about the PPI today on social media about how it was muted, and the last time the PPI came out as muted, the Fed was looking to cut rates by like 50 basis points. So with the PPI coming out in the better direction, at least that's the chatter on social media. You know, I'm not a big time analyst to actually have an opinion as to how the PPIs and CPIs actually affect the market. So I just listen to people smarter than me on those cases. So it looks like we're heading in the right direction for the inflation battle. But tomorrow, obviously, we have more important data coming out, such as the core retail sales, the jobless claims, and so on. These are some of the other part of the equations. You have the CPI, PPI, jobless claims numbers, retail numbers, and so on. All of that combined, you get a whole picture of the inflation battle that the FOMC committee has to go through, with interest rates going up and down and so on. So keep an eye out for how this 8:30 time period comes out, because you have a lot of 3-star events. After that, you're almost smooth sailing. You don't really have too much to worry about. But a couple Fed members over here, Atlanta GDP number later on in the day. So 2-star, 3-star events on the econ calendars are usually the more important things to keep an eye out for, and I'm always tuned into as how the stock market is reacting around those times, just to not get caught off guard. But currently, with the market we have, it is so easy to get off guard with every single thing out there, thanks to your boy Trump, because, you know, one headline can make or break your trading. Nothing on the IPO side for tomorrow just yet, other than the robot consulting that we looked at recently. Absolute scam of a company, if you ask me. But we'll take a look at that company when it IPOs tomorrow. Small company, not a big one at all. LAWR. So keep an eye out for that on the IPO calendar. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the stream. Multiple stocks talked about, lots of levels handed out to you, lots of sectors, mainly the drone and the crypto sector have my attention tomorrow, along with some of the energy and the semiconductor sector. So we'll see how they play out. Thankfully, earning sectors tomorrow is a little bit slower, because UAL is dead to me unless it does something special. TSM could do something special, so that's actually worth it, and that's obviously highlighted in the purple. And that's all she wrote for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final stream of the week, where we get to talk about more IPOs and more fun stuff. Good luck on the market. Exercise risk management. Trading involves both making money and losing money. I'm not a financial advisor. A disclaimer quickly throwing out there, and a shout out to all of my affiliate sponsors. Please do go check out the links below in the description to get discounts on tools and softwares that I use day to day to trade. TraderPrad out. Peace. Tomorrow, as you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors: Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.